Hello. Only me. Do you mind if I read you a little bit out of a book? You've been preaching at me with the Bible for 2,000 odd years. It's the exact word of God. The Bible is the exact word of God, you keep saying. Sorry, hang on. And you got about 50 different versions or 100 versions or 1,000. I'm not talking about religion tonight. Do you mind if I just read a book? Quietly. Thank you. Alright, you're not here. Do you mind if I just read a book? Nice and quietly, thank you. Again. Recite those prayers, said the rabbi, wearily. I can't, said the grey beard. You see, not being Jewish, I cannot read Hebrew. Then why tell me your sordid story? Asked the indignant rabbi. Because I want to tell everybody, shouted Greybeard, waving his arms ecstatically. There's none so queer as folk. I said there's none so queer as folk, as the telephone ladies used to say. I recommend this Yorkshire adage, whose truth I verified, and at the switchboard, to high clerics' meetings and solemn assembly, and to humble folk on summer retreats. I learned the text of life from working in restaurants as a waiter and a barman, and in the BBC, and doing one-man shows at theatres, and as I've said, at a switchboard. Suicidal at Christmas. This is from a book called Lionel Blue, The God Seeker's Guide, right? So The God Seeker's Guide by Lionel Blue, right? I'm reading it so that I can remember and watch it. I don't have to think too much. Be prepared, as scouts say, for festival displays are lighting up for Jewish Chanukah, Christmas and New Year's Eve. So Chanukah, Christmas, New Year's Eve. Their messages differ, but the fallout was the same. We are urged to be merry, and to play happy families. But as many have no families, or mislaid them, or their families weren't that happy in the first place, they feel more alone than ever. Some hit the bottle, or think about suicide. These practical and tried tips may help, or personally tested. This is Rabbi Lionel Blue, right? I'm reading from a book, yeah. It's Rabbi Lionel Blue, right? I'm just reading from a fucking book, right? For my own entertainment, not for your entertainment, for my own entertainment. Thank you. Less expensive are Christmas house parties in retreat centres. Your fellow guests are mainly middle class and middle-aged, who pass things politely at the table. And there's a chapel where you can natter about your soul. There's a kettle for cocoa and hot water bottles, as well as a small bar. But not enough bath and suite. Oh, book early. Let's do a little bit more. I'll go find another random one. Yeah, I'm playing a book called Random Blue. I'm Random Blue. doing random blue. Little bits of, I tell you what, I'm using a book, right? Lionel Blue, Godseeker's Guide, right? I'm going to open a page and read one page, right? Just for fun. It's a game, right? It's a fucking game that I'm just inventing now. Well, I've invented it several times. But right, you open a page of a book and you read one page of the book, right? Complete random, complete magic. Yeah. Alright, this page. What was this? I've told the story in other places, but I repeat it here because it was a decisive experience that turned me round from a living death in a psychiatric ward after a badly judged semi-suicide attempt. In retrospect, a clumsy cry for help at university by students suffering from adolescence, pimples, loneliness, and too much testosterone. You often have to hit bottom before any turnaround can happen. And it happened to me at a Quaker meeting, the first I had ever attended. Many God-seekers have this resurrection experience because when you do touch bottom, you really pray instead of toying with prayer. It's when you're drowning that you shout help, and to your surprise, help comes. Because however humble and basic, that's the sincere prayer, the prayer of your heart. Help! I need somebody, help. Not just anybody, help. You know, I need someone, help. Religion had changed and was no longer polite. Oh, this is boring bit. Let's fast forward and go to collapse and do this bit. I'm playing a book game, right? One Thursday morning in November 1950, I fell in love with love. Just like popular songs say. The world remained the same. No miracles happened. Just the occasional surprise, or wonder, or coincidence. But I did see the world in a different way, with different lights and shadows. And at the same time, the echo of that voice in me became a friend. True story. A guide whom I could talk to. I said, one Thursday morning, the world remained the same. No miracles happened. Just the occasional surprise, or wonder, or coincidence. But I did see the world in a different way, with different lights and shadows, and at the same time, the echo of that voice in me became a friend, a guide whom I could talk to. I couldn't work out whether it was faith or testosterone. But beggars can't be choosers. So I went along with it. This was started up in a Quakers meeting house in St Giles in Oxford. The rest of my life has been spent working out what truly happened. Many God-seekers like you and me experience a defining moment like that. About the same time or shortly after, I fell by accident into analysis by Leslie. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. Another bit. There is no satisfactory way of proving life before life or death after life. It is worth noting that you can never know death or the life of any world or dimension beyond it. You can know dying, but not death. You cannot know a negation. Both before life and beyond life are beyond the dimensions of time and space. I can intuit and feel, but I cannot grasp or prove. I have made no investigation into such matters. This life has been problem enough. I have never attended a séance or tried to evaluate near-death experiences. I don't think death is the end or total annihilation, not just because I would like it so, but because this is the way my life and my religious experiences have led me. My preparation for death began in childhood and the cramped conditions of London's Poor East End, where the elderly died at home, attended by the families. There usually wasn't money to pay for nurses and for occasional visits by the doctors in emergencies. I don't like knowing that Granny was dying in the room above me, and I was worried when I took food to her, but the family took it as normal. So I did the same. I was complimented of being a real man, doing what real Jewish men had to do, which made me proud. I don't remember a real rabbi ever coming to our humble home, just some man from the little house synagogue round the corner, immediately before and after death. Dad led the prayers and Ma's eldest sister, blah, 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 led the lit the memorial candles. I'm just reading a little bit of line of blue. This is like just a little bit of line of blue. Let's have a little bit more of line of blue. Random though. Let's do it random, right? There's a little bit more of this is line of blue. A little bit more of line of blue. Right. Let's read this bit. To confuse the journey to heaven with the after effects of a snort of cannabis. If heaven or whatever makes you kinder and more honest to yourself about yourself, then you're on the right track. If it makes you manipulative and bullying and evasive, then you're on the wrong road. How to deal with it? Have it out with God, X, Jesus, your soul, your guardian angel, Fred, or your friend in high places. Don't get too upset. Remember that narrow is the gate which gets you to what you want. It's not the broad and obvious path. I thought of God in personal terms because when I was at Oxford and discovered God, I was very much alone. I had great difficulty making relationships. I did not use the images of father or mother in my prayers because though they loved me, their love was pretty... No, that's another story. No, their love was perfect. I had a great fucking time. I'm Bill. Anyway, that's just about Rabbi Blue. Anyway. Hi. Was that a trip or what? Blue. Let's just call that one Blue. A little bit, right, No, and this is sort of like from Rabbi Blue. So I'm going to read one little bit more from Rabbi Blue. Just a little bit more. Just one more bit. Let's go quickly. I don't want to play the whole book, it's very long. It's quite good though. Right now, then. Oh! Dear God Seeker, later on, I shall recommend and consider more formal pilgrimages. Here is an informal one. I suggest to you at the beginning of this book a bus journey to the house, flats or furnished rooms where you lived as a child, to consider and ponder your childhood's religion. Even if it was a hand-me-down from someone else's piety. Until sex and success enters a child's life, there is often a remarkably straightforward experience of a spiritual dimension. I remember feeling puzzled and profound considering death when I was 5. And a taste, smell and feel of goodness. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, the miracle of the Chanukah, like, oh, wait, so, nah, wait a minute, oh, let's leave it at that. I'm gonna have to go to bed. Good night. And that's just sort of like, I have to go this boing. Let's call it boing.